Hello YouTube and welcome to another GV anime review where we're going spirit hunting. No, not in Ghostbusters, but in Musaigen no Phantom World or Myriad Colors Phantom World. This was the newest creation of Kyoto Animation, so you can imagine that the expectations for this anime were quite high. Musaigen takes place in a town where, after an incident in a chemical facility, humanity has been genetically modified to see phantoms, a sort of imaginary creatures. Most of the time, humans and phantoms live peacefully side by side, but sometimes a phantom causes trouble. When that happens, students from the nearby Hosea Academy come forward, since they have developed special powers since the incident. Two of those students are Haruhiko Ichijo and Mai Kawakami, who form Team E. In order to defeat bigger phantoms, Team E desperately needs more members, so Haruhiko and Mai start to search for more members as they fight phantoms every week. When a new anime from KyoAni appears, the first thing that we anime watchers look forward to is the animation, since that is always top notch. And Musaigen's was no exception to that standard. It was already clear that Musaigen's animation would be gorgeous from the moment that the first trailer appeared. KyoAni delivered another anime with great animation. I wonder how the hell they do that time after time. I can't think of a KyoAni anime that I've seen that disappointed me when it came to the animation. I checked before I finished this review. The oldest KyoAni anime that I've seen was Clannad from 2007, and then the animation was already of a very high level, so that's a standard that always stays. Next positive point were the final two episodes. Now, I can't really go into detail about what happens in these episodes without spoiling them completely. But these two last episodes were quite different than the others. Where the majority of these episodes were completely focused on comedy, the final two take a way more serious tone and actually contained a good bit of feels. I wished that the entire anime was like these episodes, because the comical episodes weren't bad, but let's be honest, that's not what we come to KyoAni for. KyoAni is known for its realistic and that dramatic animes, but Musaigen was quite different to say the least. And related to those last two episodes was that here we finally got some layering for Ruru. In the episodes before that, she was pure comical relief and a weird character to come from KyoAni. But in the final two episodes, she actually gets a meaning and a goal in this anime, something she really deserved and needed. My last positive point is something small, but something that I really appreciated. I mostly noticed it in the first episode that Mai's fighting style was based off real fighting techniques. When she used her water powers in that first episode, that was a clear Taiji Chuan technique, which is a Chinese martial art. I noticed that, and it was a very nice detail that the animators put into Musaigen. Now my two negative points revolve around one thing, being that Musaigen is an episodical anime. You guys must be pretty bored already from me always talking about this, but it's one of my biggest bothers in anime. I like a good storyline, it's what keeps me interested in that specific anime. And with this new KyoAni anime, I was expecting a good storyline since they intrigued me more than once in the past. But unfortunately, Musaigen is a completely episodical anime. Every week we get the same story. A phantom appears that needs to be sealed away, and our crew tries to do that. Now, some of these episodes were good, don't get me wrong. Like the episode that revolves around Reina was a good episode that gave us a more inside look into Reina's mind. But other episodes had none of this layering, like the episodes with the Spa Phantom. Besides a lot of plot, there wasn't that much layering or meaning behind that episode. Related to the episodicalness of the anime is that there was a chance to implement a main storyline, but the anime didn't take it. The chance laid in the electronic device that was found in one of the first episodes. There was the chance for Musaigen to do something with that device. That could have been the main storyline of this anime. Besides the weekly phantoms that have to be sealed, our characters could try to figure out what it was. But now the device disappears after its appearance at the start of the anime. It does show itself a few times during the anime, but until, again, the final 2 episodes, it doesn't have any meaning or impact on the development of the storyline. Now my last point that I'm going to address isn't necessarily a negative point, but more my overall thoughts about Musaigen. This was weird. This was a weird anime to come from KyoAni. As I mentioned before, KyoAni is known for its serious and realistic animes. Like the animes that I already watched from KyoAni are Clannad, The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, Hyuga, Hibiki Euphonium and Musaigen. Apart from the Suzumiya franchise, all these animes aren't known for their comical themes. And then we have Musaigen, an anime that focuses completely on comedy and even has fan service in it. That was something that I had never seen in a KyoAni anime before. So this was kind of an experiment from KyoAni. It wasn't really a bad one, but they can do better than this. So as a conclusion, KyoAni, please return to your serious animes. I mean, Musaigen wasn't bad, but you can make better animes than this. Animes with a better storyline, more intriguing characters with layered personalities, and more drama where you guys excel at. So Musaigen was okay to watch. I loved the animation, which made me rate it a little higher than I usually would with this kind of animes. I enjoyed myself, but it wasn't the bombshell that I somewhere expected it to be. And that's why I'm going to rate Musaigen no Phantom World at 3.5 out of 5 stars. If the anime would have been like the final 2 episodes, this could have been an anime up to KyoAni's standards. My recommendation is an anime that I mentioned before in this video. The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, also one of the more comical based animes from KyoAni. Like Musaigen, it's episodical, delivering a story of the week. Now, if you saw my review of this franchise, you know that I'm not the biggest fan of it, but a lot of people really love this series, so give it a shot and see if you enjoy it. I recommend watching the original series and the movie The Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya. I don't recommend watching last year's spin-off The Disappearance of Nagato Yuki-chan. That was, in my opinion, utter crap. And with that I conclude my review of Musaigen no Phantom World. As usual, you can find the full list of all my animes and reviews over at Anime Planet. As usual, I will put a link in the description box down below. Now if you want me to review a particular anime from this list, please put it in the comments. Also, if you have a recommendation for me, put them in the comments as well. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, visit me on Facebook and subscribe to this channel for more reviews in the future. I will say arigatou gozaimasu, and I will see you all in the next video.